Hello everyone, I am Aishman and in today's video, I am going to show you 3 different ways to center a div in a web page. One of the most common things we do as web developers is to center a div on a web page. So in this small video, I am going to discuss 3 different ways to center a div. But before starting, a disclaimer here, some of these methods are not optimal for centering a div in a web page. It's just like a test for CSS how you can do the same thing in different manners. So without further ado, let's begin. So to begin our project, I will be creating a new folder in our desktop and opening up with our VS Code. Let's just close that, and the first thing I will be creating is that index.html, and then we need another file, obviously style.css. So in our index.html, I will be quickly setting it up. So that will be centering div. So the next thing will be to link our CSS, link CSS. So that's okay. And there will be a div which will contain all the things, container. So this is the div that is going to take up the whole web page, and inside this div we'll leave our card which will be centered in this video in different ways. So in our card I will have hello world. Okay, apparently the E is capital. So the next thing I will have is a paragraph of just gibberish text by Lorem Ipsum, and then we obviously need a click me button in our card. I mean, who doesn't want to click a click me button? So next thing we will open our style.css, and I love to reset everything. Margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. Okay, I hope I typed that correctly. And next, font family, Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. So let's just open it with Lifeserver. So Lifeserver is a popular VS Code extension. You can search Lifeserver here. And if you are doing web development, I highly recommend this extension. It will live serve every web page you make basically. So it's open on port 5050, and let me open it up in my Firefox. Okay, that's it. So let's just right side it. Okay, so open up our file. Okay, that's looking good. Here's hello world, click me, and some gibberish text. So in our style.css, I will be first making our container to be at least the full width and the full height of the screen. 100 vw is stands for viewport width. This width means from here to here, all the width is called viewport width. And I will also set the min height to 100 vh. Okay, that will be that 100 vh means from here to here, the whole height of the screen available, that's 100 vh. So inside that we will go for our card. So let's just give it a background for now, background color actually. So let me just pick a color. This blue will look good. Okay, so let's just give our card a width of 500 pixels. So this won't be made any kind of responsive right now because of time constraints, but you can do it responsive as well. So that's the setup for now, and let's just jump into our first method. So for method number 1, I will be using Flexboxes available in CSS. For that, we need to simply write our container to be displayed as flex, and we need to justify content center, and then align items center. So let's just save that, and voila, our card is in the center. Okay, our card doesn't look good, so let me just fix some things. Padding 20 pixels. So, and let's just make it text align center, and let's just also take the paragraph inside here and give it a margin top and bottom of 20 pixels and 0 on the sides. Okay, now it looks way better. And now let's just give a button class of class means sorry padding of 20 pixel 10 pixel. Okay, sorry, I wrote that reverse. 10 pixel 20 pixel, just to look make the things look a kind tad bit better. Okay, so that's it for the first method. So let's just jump into our second method, which will be using positioning. So for that, let's just comment our display flex and everything related to that. Okay, so for our second method, we will be using positioning. So we need to mark our container to be position relative to which we will be positioning our class, means card. So our card will have a position of absolute. Okay, absolute. So let's just make it position left. From left it will go 50%, and from top it will go 50%. Let's just save that. No, it doesn't center our div. In fact, it moves it to the side, and if we go full screen, you can see this point. If you think carefully, this point means the top left corner of our div is right in the center of the page, which we don't want. For that, we can use CSS transform properties. So let me tell you in short what CSS transform properties does. So in transform properties, we can change a lot of things regarding anything in CSS, any containers. We can scale them, we can um, skew them, we can rotate them. But what we are interested in this position is translate. So translate is a property which will as its name suggests, it will translate, I mean move our card without changing or affecting these two positions, means left and top set by absolute positioning. So our card will be translated. So we need to translate it to left and then to top. So translate, how does it work? It, if it is given a positive value for x, it will means this will take first x value then a y value. So for x value, if we give a positive number, it will go to right. Then if we give a positive value for y, this will go down. So we don't want that. We want it to be negative, so that it goes to left and goes to top. So 50% negative on x and 50% negative on y. So let's just save that, and voila, our card is centered again. So success in the second method. So final method. As I told you before, Flexbox and card are modern CSS properties used for positioning and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, why don't we use grid for positioning our card in the center? So let's just jump into that adventure of creating centering a div with grid system. So let's just comment it, and I will start with display grid, and then I will have grid template columns. So I will, so let me explain this to you. So I will have three columns, 1 2 and 3. The first two will be a little bit smaller, and the means first and last one will be a little bit smaller, and the third one will be a little bit larger to accommodate our card. And in our rows, we will also have three rows, one here, and the center one. The center one will contain our card, and the rest of the two will contain means center one, rest of the two contain the spacings. So let's just define our grid template column. One fraction, this is a unit used for grid templating, fraction unit. One fraction, three fraction. As I told you, the center column will be a little bit larger. One fraction, and columns mn. Okay, grid template rows, so one fraction. Okay, so the center one needs to be smaller here. Four fraction, sorry, three fraction, one fraction, three fraction. Let's just do that. Okay, let's just save it. What happened? Oh, positioning. I need to comment the positioning and transform, because it is so. Just now you saw that if you don't name our container to be relative positioning, it takes the body to relative position the element, so our thing didn't change. So in that case our container wasn't needed at all. So let's just remove these three, means these four, positioning and all that. So let's just save, and it is on our top left corner. So let's just see it with our inspector. I'm using Firefox just for that, so that I can show you the grid. So grid display settings, I need to display the grid numbers. Sorry, this div container, yes, that's shown. So see that this is actually taking the size of the div at first. So we have a nine boxes here with grid, and this one actually not taking the one fraction we defined before, because it's seeing that its content is larger, so it is scaling it accordingly. So we need to move the card from here to here. So one interesting thing for grid is that line numbers. So we can use these line numbers to position a div in a grid. So let's just do that. So grid, for that we need the css property of grid column. So for that we need, so as I told you, we need it in the second and the third column. So 2, this is the starting point, and 3, this is the ending point. Let's just save that. It will be in this the middle div. So that's good. That is taking up the middle space. As you can see, it is taking up the middle space, but it's not in the middle. So I will apply a margin of 0 auto. I think that worked, but somehow the div was gone. Okay, so yes, this is in the center. Now we need to place it in the center row as well. For that we need grid row, and the center row will be 2 to 3 again. 2 to 3. Let's just save that. Okay, that has gone a lot, means the 3 fraction sizing is not okay. Let me do it 1 fraction for all 3. Let's see. Okay, that doesn't look bad. That actually looks good, and I will be using that. So there is our card. As you can see, our card is center, but the text is not looking really good. So for that we can again use a div inside of card, or we can use our first method where we display this at flex. I will be doing that here, but I have also written a post regarding this centering div, and that will be linked in the description. And let me see if I can link it in the I button. So let's just display it as flex, and our flex direction will be column, because otherwise it will show in one row. So justify content center, align items center. So let's just say that it is centered. So in my original post I have done this thing also, means centering this in the things inside the card also is in grid. So you can check that one out for seeing that, because this method is not at all applicable for production purposes. That will be it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe for new content from me, and that's me, Ayushman, signing off.